couple of weeks. But I've obviously kept the scariest of the lot for tonight. Now, alright, I could be lying. This story is loosely based on a Cornish folk tale. Set in Cornwall at a time when lads started work in the mines quite early in their lives. And when I remember where it begins, Jackie and Jan, they were just two poor mining lads. They were so poor they couldn't afford a belt between them to hold up the trousers. Instead, the trousers were held up with a bit of airy string left over from the baling of the hay. But they were only teenagers, but they were working men. And like most working men, on a Friday night, they like to go out and enjoy themselves. That meant going down the pub and meeting the mates, like we are here. Well, it's one Friday night, they were just getting ready to go out, and the mother called them. They said, "Do you know what tonight is?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, tonight is Halloween. And tonight you're likely to encounter ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and even old Nick himself." I forgot to tell you, there might be a little bit of thing that recurs in this story, and you might find you want to join in. Feel free to do so. Anyway, they got themselves ready, and they set off. Oh, the mother said to them, "I want you to promise me you'll be back here before midnight." Well, they promised, and then they set off. Down the hill to Nancherrow and over the little bridge. But then they took a detour, keeping well away from the Carn Kinnidiach, because it said on dark nights you can see flashing lights and hear wild hooting sounds. Now that is definitely the word. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and old Nick himself. Yes, all right. Anyway, the thing was, they got a long way to go, because in those days, the people of St. Just, where they lived, are very upright and virtuous. There wasn't a single pub in the town. So they were on the way to Morva, 4 miles away. Well, as I say, they took a detour, and they eventually ended up at the pub. And then they went in, joined the mates, enjoying themselves. They were singing songs, telling stories. And being Halloween, all the songs and the stories were about ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and even old Nick himself. Well, they were having such a good time that they didn't notice the time going by, forgot all about it until the clock started to strike midnight. And then they were out of that pub like a flash. They were running down the street. They knew they were in trouble with their mother. And they come up with this idea. If they took the shortcut across the common at the base of the Carn, well, they wouldn't be in quite so much trouble. Well, they hadn't been off the road a few minutes when they heard an horse galloping towards them. And they had to throw themselves off the path out of its way. And Jackie said, "Oi!" to the driver. He says, "That's no way to ride a horse at night." The horse stopped, slowly turned around and walked back towards them. And they could see the silhouette of the rider. He'd got a hooded cloak on, and from beneath his hood, got bright red staring eyes. And he said, "I'm sorry, lads, but I'm a bit late for the wrestling. I'm just off on the way to the Carn to watch the wrestling. Why don't you come and join me?" Now, there's nothing Cornish lads like more than wrestling. So you can see, I mean, it's the most natural thing in the world, isn't it? They followed this fella up onto the Carn. And when they got up there was a flat area which was a granite slab surrounded by a grassy hillside. And on that grassy bank were all those ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and even old Nick himself. Yeah, he was there, sitting on a throne at the back, with his eyes blazing red. Well, there was an hush went across the crowd, and then the wrestlers came out. And nothing like any wrestlers you've ever seen. These were true Cornish giants, 10 feet tall. He got into the ring and the match began. And with every fall you could hear the breaking of bones, the ripping of flesh and the tearing of sinew. And with every fall was cheered on by ghosts, ghouls, goblins, even old Nick himself. Well, they struggled and neither could get the upper hand. And then one of them did. He managed to get the upper hand and he grabbed his opponent. He lifted him high above his head and with a sickening thud, he smashed him down onto that granite slab. And then off he went to get his prize. But his opponent just lay there, not moving. And Jackie says, "We've got to help him." So they popped down into the ring. When they got there, Jan said, "Is he still alive?" Jackie says, "Only just." And Jan said, "Well, we better get a doctor." So I don't think there's time. So in that case, do you know any prayers? I said, "Just the one. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name." And then they stopped because they felt the hairs sticking up on the back of their neck. They knew they were being watched. They turned round and sure enough, all those ghosts, ghouls, goblins and even old Nick himself was staring at them. Well, old Nick, he raised his hand. He pointed his finger and he opened his mouth to speak. But the lads, they didn't hang around to hear what he got to say. They were running full belt down that hill towards Manchero, and right on the tails were all those ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and even himself. Well, Jackie's legs were getting tired, Jan's shoelaces was coming undone, but with every step those ghosts, ghouls, goblins, and even old Nick himself got closer and closer and closer. And they realised if they could make it to the bridge and get across the bridge, they'd be safe because ghosts can't cross running water. Well, they were one step away from that bridge. And the biggest, ugliest goblin of the lot grabbed them by the seat of the pants. He opened his mouth to show the most disgusting, horrible, sharpest teeth you've ever seen. And the lads could feel his hot breath on the back of their neck. And they knew he was about to bite off their heads. But Jackie and Jan, well, they were just two poor mining lads. The trousers were only held up with a bit of hairy string. And that string snapped with a twang. And so they crossed over the bridge. But the trousers never did. Now that's the tale they told the mother when they arrived home at 1 o'clock in the morning without any trousers. I don't know about you, but I find that hard to believe.